Hey everybody, it's Greg Rice. We're here in North Haven, Connecticut. We're with two people today. First and foremost, Mick LaFleur.
Good to see you, Greg.
Nice to see you, Mick. Mick is our franchisee. He's the owner-operator of our North Haven territory. And secondly, we have Mr. Jose Sagastume. He is the owner of Junk Hunter CT. And today we're going to do our first three-person interview. How about that?
That's great.
Happy New Year.
And Mick, why don't you take the lead here? How did you and Jose connect?
Well, as you know, we're brand new. We started in August here in North Haven for the whole New Haven County area. And I had a lot of vendors coming in, right? They know the Nexus name and the brand, and they saw the sign and said, hey, let me try to make a connection. And Jose came in, had a good feel for him. We sat down, we talked, and we get to that point. I think we were both on the same page of let's grow together.
Gotcha.
He came offering services for junk removal, which is something that obviously we provide for our clients. Huge when it comes to turnovers, a lot of that stuff. Right, so we're going to have business for him, but we just opened in August. So really, we've started a relationship based on our affinity for each other, not having that business just yet, but that's going to come. And it kind of worked out well that way, kind of an organic friendship instead of that money-driven friendship.
Necessity.
Yep.
And tell us about the business. When did you open and how did you get started? And tell us about your background.
Absolutely. So first, my name is Jose Sagastume. I live here in North Haven, Connecticut. How it all really started was I started with a different name. It used to be a Spark Source before. It was something that had to do with transportation, but then that led to a whole different thing because of COVID. So we've been on this for 3 years. This is going to be our 4th year now.
Okay.
So last year we got a little excited because more businesses started coming in, and we ended up changing the name because that kind of like was putting a stop to people like actually knowing what we do.
Okay.
So after that, we have realized that it created a huge impact in our business because people actually know what we do. You can't miss it, junk hunters. So
Found you.
yeah. So it's working out very good. Right now it's been very, very slow. The month of November and December, extremely quiet.
For us too.
I think for everybody.
Yeah.
That's really how it all started. It's me, my brother, and we have other guys that we gather sometimes when we really need them. And we're still small, but we have that mentality of growing and becoming a little bit bigger, just like you guys.
Yep.
And we'll see where it leads.
Awesome. And what is the ideal client for you at this moment?
So honestly, the ideal client is someone that, understands that junk removal is, I would say, a luxury service. Because there is a lot of people that they can do and remove their own stuff, whether it's they're moving, whether they're, selling a home, or if, any other necessities that they have in their home. But honestly, there are people that they just don't have the time, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Or
the muscles.
Correct. The strength as well. Yeah. It's a big factor.
Yeah.
So those are the people that actually do hire people for removing junk out of their homes. And also, foreclosures are good, estate sales and stuff like that. After they're over, they call us and they ask us to clean everything up. So yeah, those are really our clients.
How about this? So most of our properties, right, acquire mattresses, they acquire tires, batteries, even sometimes there'll be asbestos that's left behind, or old furnaces, old boilers, like very heavy. Do you guys get into boutique items, or is it more simple, wood, trash, clothes, furniture? Do you have limitations?
So we remove everything. The only thing that I would say that we really choose to stay away from, anything that has to do with petroleum.
So
It's
paints, oils,
correct.
gasoline.
Well, we do paints because most of the time now they don't have asbestos or they're not oil based anymore. But for asbestos, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So we stay away from that as well. But small demolitions we do. Like if somebody wants to remodel their kitchen and they don't have the time or the right tools to say, hey, I want, we also do that kind of stuff. Like old sheds, we remove those as well. So pretty much anything you can think of, we remove, except, we do have some limitations.
Gotcha. And how about this? So you said you come in, you do the demolition. Do you do roll-off service as well, where you drop a dumpster off or a trailer? Or is it done at that time, you come with the crew and you do the job?
Correct.
So you don't do
We
roll-offs?
don't do roll-offs.
So it's personalized and it's efficient and it's prompt.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
What questions do you have?
Well, I was just saying that's, in terms of us, working in tandem, that's perfect, right? That's us. We want to be on that schedule. We want someone to tend to it. We don't want something to just sit there.
Right.
This will get done. Someone will do it eventually. Like, it's nice. It sounds like you guys are on point. You're on task, right? And you're working on that schedule, and that I think is why we'll have that nice partnership.
Mm-hmm. I remember one of the most disgusting cleanouts we ever had. It was first a dead body
Oh, wow.
that had blood everywhere, and on top of that there was intravenous needles. It was just cluttered and packed. There was rodents everywhere, and I remember me and my dad did it, and it was just like, people don't understand what it's like to do what you do.
Correct.
They'll say, "Oh, what do you mean, $1,000? It's just junk removal." Like, no. Why don't you try it? Why don't you see what it's...
There's more behind the scenes.
Correct. Why don't you tell us some stories, maybe one that comes to mind that hits that home of like, this is what we do and this is the value that we're providing. Do you have a story like that?
I do, actually. In Cromwell, Connecticut, we had a client called, and he had to get that person evicted from there. Apparently the guy was dealing drugs at the place and also consuming. So we found needles there on the carpet, on the beds, on everything. And, he was actually looking for a low-end type of removal. And, I mean, you're putting your people at jeopardy by bringing your crew in there, people that are clean. You don't know, somebody that's been doing drugs, needles, and stuff like that is very dangerous. So it is unsanitary, So there's a different charge for all that kind of stuff that you just mentioned.
So another thing that I want to talk about, which hits close to home for us, our former leasing director, Nikolai, he overdosed on fentanyl. Accidentally, it was in marijuana. And he took a puff, bye-bye.
Wow.
Second point of this story is that it's in these apartments, it's in these homes. Whether we like it or not, it's there. So when there's an eviction situation, when there's a move out, when somebody abandons a place, when somebody dies, it could be there. Have you run into it, and do you prepare, and do your guys, wear equipment and protect themselves? Because you can just touch a little bit of that stuff and it's all over.
Yes.
Scary.
So for something like that, honestly, there are clients who try to hide it.
Right.
They will not tell you up front because they know that they probably called somebody else. They made them aware of what is really going on. And now they call someone else, they don't tell them unless they realize it, And then because they're trying to get, a nice price.
Yeah.
According to them. Unfortunately for that is that you realize you're putting other people at jeopardy if they don't realize it.
Right.
And yes, you do have to, suit up for those kind of jobs like that because, you don't want to get your guys with that stuff in their system.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that is something that our clients have to be extremely honest about telling us exactly what we're getting into because, you're putting us in the line, our health. But not everybody's like that.
Right. And how about let's talk about a good segue into pricing, right? You give somebody a price and you say, this is what it is, Mr. or Mrs. Homeowner. And then they say, oh no, I got somebody that's going to do it for half that price. What do you say to the people that are trying to find the cheapest, bottom of the barrel, job and people to go into their investment, to go into their property. What do you say to those people?
So there's a lot that goes into play with that. And number one is, who are you really hiring?
Right.
You don't know who this person is. But, I could tell you up front, we have insurance, we're people that are responsible. We're not in drugs, and we respect your property, we respect you. When we start taking stuff out, we look for the best way of getting stuff out without doing any damage. Most of the time, those guys go in there, they don't care, they break stuff.
Boom,
Yeah, exactly. They damage your walls, they damage your doors, they damage this, they hit your car, and there's so many scenarios that can happen with that. Owners that are looking to hire cheaper help, that's what they're gonna get. If something, because accidents can happen to anyone. If by any chance any of my crew members hits a car by accident, we'll be totally responsible for that. But if you hire this Mr. Joe guy that you don't know who he is, bangs your car, doesn't even tell you, he leaves your property, did the damage, and now you're liable for it.
Yeah.
So
I was just thinking about what you opened with, where you started with a different name originally, and then you found Junk Hunters. You're like, this is it. You take pride in that name,
Correct.
in that brand, and when people look to hire you or anybody you got to think about that. You're hiring that brand, and that comes with a reputation.
absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's
a
spot
big
on.
one. Thank you for that, because that's great that you said that. You have to take pride in what you do, and you guys definitely do take pride in what you do.
Yeah. We've been doing it for 10 years, and every day it's something happens, and you're like, wow, didn't think that could happen.
Correct.
Or, wow, this did happen, but we're prepared to handle it because we have people who believe in us, that trust us, and they follow our lead and our advice so that they tackle those issues. So I think the big advantage in our alliance is that people want to be here, whether they're an owner, they're an employee, whether a tenant. People believe in us, and we don't take that lightly. And when we hire people, we've had vendors that have come in one time and the tenant's complaining, the owner's complaining, and that's the last time they ever worked for us. We have boundaries, we have standards, and it seems you do as well.
We have to. Absolutely.
And the word no is?
Complete sentence.
That's it. No is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And we have to say no sometimes, and I'm sure that you've had to say no as
Correct.
well.
When I have to say no, trust me, it does
Yeah.
bother me a little bit. I wouldn't say bother me, but it does it stopped me from doing business and say, hey, this person doesn't want to do business with me, which is fine. You also have to understand that. The other side of that is, in your mind, you have to learn how to think, okay, this person is not my client, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because, there are certain things that you need to do to make sure that you're also getting compensated for what you need to be compensated for.
Right. And how about, let's segue into one of my favorite things, vehicles, engines, heavy metals, right? Tenants will have a hobby shop in the garage, and there'll be a frame of a car, there'll be an old engine, there'll be, old rims and tires and things. Do you get involved in vehicle disposal, or do you have a connection to a tow company that'll take it and scrap it? What's your involvement with that type of stuff?
So if that was the case, let's say motors and stuff like that, you can definitely find someone else to help you with that situation. But as far as removing vehicles, we can do that as well. So if it's an old vehicle that is just there and it's taking all your space and you want to get it removed, we also tackle that as well.
That's huge.
Yeah.
We're doing, it seems like, lately, one or two a month of just hey, this vehicle is here, no plates, hasn't been driven, it's rusted, and we just take it and scrap it. So that's good to know.
Yep.
We also have been doing a lot of basement cleanouts. So people will leave old items in storage lockers. That seems like it would be no problem.
No problem.
The apartment cleanouts, no problem.
No problem.
Attic cleanouts.
Correct. We do that as well.
How about yard, exterior cleanups? Is that more landscaper, or you'll still get involved with
We do that also. Actually, I think I had mentioned to Nick that we have a connection with a tree removal company.
Cool.
And we're partnered with them, you know, whether they refer customers to us or we do refer customers to them. So we go hand to hand with that. But as far as the yard, it really depends on what it is. We do some debris, we don't do it all. Like if it's a huge tree that landed on your property, unfortunately we don't do that.
Right.
But if it's just a small branches and debris like that, we remove
Correct.
that. Correct.
Awesome.
And then all kinds of like furniture, you know, like old pool chairs and anything that you can think of be outdoors, we remove that, no problem.
How about, I see them, the pools, the above ground pools from the 80s and 90s. Do you guys demolish those?
Yeah. We do.
Interesting. How about this? And I'll put this picture up on the screen. I never thought about this up until last week. I was looking at a house in North Kingston, close to where Mick lives, and it had a massive satellite dish in the backyard from like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It was probably 12 feet tall. It wasn't in use anymore. Would you get into something like that? It's just a big metal, you know,
Yeah.
just cut it up or do whatever.
We'll do whatever it takes to remove it out of there if that's what you want us to do.
I don't think I can stump them. You got anything?
No, I mean, I think you can tell why, you know, we get along so well. I can think back to going into like a D'Angelo's at the top of, you know, downtown Pawtucket.
Yep.
And this is way back when we were saying like we weren't gonna like endorse or recommend anybody else. We're Nexus, they're not, we're not gonna speak for anybody else's work. We've come a long way in terms of, you know, running across people like Jose. We're like, wait a minute, they do the work the way we would do it, right? He's gonna stick to his prices. He's not gonna negotiate. He's not gonna play this game, right? He has those same principles that we do, and we're running into those people. You know, we've got some in Rhode Island as well, and I just think about how far we've come, but how great it is to make those connections. And what I keep hearing is, we do this thing really, really well, right? And we do this. And if you need something else, we'll figure out how to do it for you.
Yep.
Right. And within that is that barrier around it of saying, and if not, no. The answer's going to be no sometimes.
Right.
Right. And that's, you know, all three of us in here have that same philosophy. It's the winning philosophy. It's why you're going to work, we're going to work, we're all going to win in the end. Yeah.
So who was the triangle offense again? Was that Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and
Who else would have been in there? I mean, Horace
Dennis
Grant at one
Rodman?
point. Yeah, not as much, but
that's us.
Yeah, that's us.
there you go.
Same mentality. And you as a landlord are benefiting from that access, and like Nick's talking about, we have the door. If it's something outside and we don't have it, Jose might have it, and if he doesn't have it, then he opens his door. And it's a continuous effect. Maybe that person opens that door, and so on. So you have a solid nucleus of forthright and principled people that are here to help you with your most valuable investment of all time.
And literally under a brand that we want you to trust and that you will trust. Right?
Accountability.
Right, same thing there.
Absolutely.
So last thing is, what do you want the folks at home to remember and take away about you?
Number one is we stand by our name. We're building our name, you know, and we're very reliable, hardworking people, and our reputation is just really what means a lot to us, and a happy client.
Mick, any last words?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of close in saying that you know, I think in being in business and working with, you know, different vendors or whatnot, you're always looking for someone who's honest, but I almost feel like there's honesty here and there's truthfulness here.
Right.
And I think that to me, that's where with Jose, right, he's always been honest, but there's like a truthfulness that's not typical. It's that I'm gonna figure this out for you. I got your back. We're in this together. And you know, if you're hiring anyone for anything, you want that. You know, that idea that this person is working for you, right, on the same team. And I liked what you opened with when you said it's a luxury service.
Yeah.
Because it's not something, you know, you're talking about dead bodies and blood and drugs. But you're right, it's a luxury service that, you know, without what you're doing, people are in trouble.
Correct.
So it's great that you're keeping your standard, making people come, you know, to the reality, to something that makes sense financially for them, for you, for your team members. I think it's great, and I think you can see why, you know, I was eager to get Jose.
Yeah, you know,
out there.
some people, I just want to bring this up before we cut it up. It's just that you're a trash hauler, man. That's how they try to look at us. Well, that's not what we are. We provide a service that you yourself can't do because you don't have the tools that we do. So, you know, we do it respectfully. We do it with the tools that are needed. We have a great crew of people that does it, you know, and by the time we leave that house, we like to see our clients smile. You know, that means a lot to us. You know, that means that we did a great job. We went above and beyond to make that customer extremely happy. And then so that they're ready to move on to the next project.
Correct. And tell their friends.
Correct.
Well, guys, I had a great time talking trash. Trash talking was fun.
Trash talking.
Check out Jose's website, junkhuntersct.com. And if you have any questions for him, for me, for Mick, put them in the comments field below. Once again, Greg Rice here at the Nexus North Haven office with Jose from Junk Hunters, Mick from Nexus North Haven. Mick, Jose, there we go.
Thank you, Greg.
Have a good day.
Take care.